Happy Friday, everybody. It's chamber check-in time. And today I have a special guest with me. I have Lonnie Levitt Barker. She's with Camp Rainbow Gold. Hi, Lonnie.
Hi, Paul. Hi, everyone.
I'm so excited to hear the news, help share a little bit about the origin story of Camp Rainbow Gold, its Forever Home Camp, and some other news and events coming up and with you today. But before we get to that, Lonnie, I get to thank our series sponsor, and it's Delta Dental of Idaho. So unleashing your smile with Delta Dental is really the mission and vision. Delta Dental provides best-in-class dental insurance benefits to Idahoans and businesses, and they've been doing it for over 50 years. And with that, I'm going to share a fun factoid from their Tooth Truth series. Here we go.
At Delta Dental of Idaho, we have three characteristics: simple, helpful, and trusted. We're simple because we understand the benefits and help you understand the benefits. We're helpful by providing the information that you need to get out to your employees. We're trusted because we've been around for over 50 years and will continue to be here.
Thank you, Delta Dental. So Lonnie, let me do a quick little intro of the short bio here. So Lonnie and her family have been either a camper, have served as a volunteer, been a fundraiser, an MC, and most recently is serving as Capital Campaign Director for their Forever Home. And Lonnie, thanks so much for taking some time with me today.
I am so happy to be here. Thank you for inviting us.
So I love these check-ins to learn and share more about our chamber members' businesses. And as a nonprofit, Camp Rainbow Gold has a rich history of providing services. And why don't you give us a background of the origin story of Camp Rainbow Gold, and then we'll go into how you got involved.
Camp Rainbow Gold has been around for 39 years. Can you believe that? Next year will be 40. So we're getting into that middle-aged bracket, but been around 39 years. It started back in the 80s with a young 10-year-old boy in Twin Falls area who just wanted to go to camp. He wanted to go with his friends, and he happened to have cancer. And the camp said, we just can't take that risk. So he was complaining to the family doctor, and this Dr. David McCluskey, who still practices in his 80s. He said, we need to figure out a way to turn that no and make it into a yes. So he wrote a grant, and he recruited some other doctors and nurses, and he took this boy and his friends, and I think his siblings and cousins and some other children with cancer camping. And that has grown from that first experience to we serve about 400 Idaho children and families today in our year-round programs.
Wow. Okay. Tell us how and when you got started with the organization, Lonnie.
So I was exposed, I guess, or introduced to Camp Rainbow Gold in 2013. I have a little boy. We call him our dessert baby because he's an oops baby. And it just sounds better to say dessert baby. We were full and thought we were full, and then he's really yummy. So it's just something we say. My son, his name is Keen, and he has Down syndrome. He has autism. And just to keep things interesting, at age 2, he was diagnosed with cancer. And we were a year into his 3.5-year treatment. And one of the doctors at Misty, which is now St. Luke's Cancer Institute, told us, you need to send your girls. I have 3 girls. And he said, you need to send your girls to Camp Rainbow Gold, to siblings camp. And to be honest, we're those kinds of parents that don't let our kids spend the night at houses of people we know, let alone send them to camp for a week with strangers. And so I was a little hesitant, but this doctor actually called up one of the Camp Rainbow Gold program managers and put them on the phone. And I asked a million questions about background checks and protocols when your 6-year-old child wakes up in the middle of the night having to go to the bathroom. Right. What happens? And we wake up 2 counselors to go with them. So we felt comfortable enough, sent our 3 girls to camp, which honestly was a huge gift to me as a mother, because if you know much about a child getting diagnosed with cancer, the entire family is diagnosed. And I had a lot of guilt for pushing my 3 girls to the side while we focused on keeping one alive. And so for them to get to go to camp and have a week where it's all about them and they're spoiled, rotten, and loved, and get to do everything, and the world revolves around them for once instead of their brothers, it was a gift to all of us, and continues to be. You know, once you're in the Camp Rainbow Gold family, you get to keep participating. So we love it.
Wow. Wow. That's an amazing story. How's Keen doing now?
You know, he's 12. He finished treatment at age 6, and he's doing quite well. He still has, you know, some blips and challenges. You can't be on chemotherapy for that many years and not, but he's doing pretty good.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey, let's dive into, you have prepared some educational material for us. Are you ready to show that?
I am, if you'll put it up on the screen.
Yeah, let's do it.
So I shared a little bit about camp. What most people don't know is we are more than just the camps. We do 5 camps. We do a children's cancer camp. We do a teen cancer camp. We do a siblings, as I mentioned, but we also do 2 family camps. We have a very robust scholarship program. We've given out more than $1 million in scholarships to these kids who battle cancer. And just during COVID, we expanded the program to include siblings. So we give out scholarships to siblings and then children, or I should say teens and young adults who have battled cancer, because they're the ones going to college. We also do year-round events, and we do almost a monthly teen support group. Our teen campers came to us and said, hey, look, we want to be together more than just a week in the summertime. And so we have activities. As we did all of these camps, we realized that we had outgrown all of the options of places in the state of Idaho that we rented. We were turning away about 30 to 60 children every summer and their families. And then we also were challenged that there's nothing in the state of Idaho that's designed for a child or even an adult or a veteran in a wheelchair or with any other disabilities or challenges. And so we ended up looking around and had some ups and downs. But in 2019, we purchased 172 acres outside of Fairfield, Idaho, in Camas County. And if any of you are familiar with the old Soldier Mountain Ranch and Resort, it's an old golf course resort. Have you heard of it, Paul?
Yes.
Have you been there?
I haven't.
So it's an old golf course resort that had 26 buildings. They had a bunch of timeshare cabins built around it. And it had been a great community golf course that had kind of fallen on some hard times and had been shuttered since 2015. So when we bought it, it needed a lot of work. And we set about coming up with a capital campaign and a plan, a master plan for the property that we could build up this camp and make it accessible and adaptive. And then guess what happened? We were just going on, running along, doing great, raising money and working on things. And then our good friend COVID hit. Oh. And like everybody out there, we all had to pivot and adjust. And we ended up doing our camps online. We had over 200 participants, but you know, the picture in the upper left-hand corner of the kids eating s'mores on their couch instead of around a campfire. It wasn't as magical as it needed to be. Let's just put it that way. Right. And at the end of that camp in 2020, our medical team, which is mostly made up of doctors and nurses, came to us and said, look, we have got to figure out a way to put these kids face to face and get them back to camp. They need this as part of their healing. And so we got really creative and we looked at the property that we owned with these 26 buildings. And in less than 6 months, we decided to do something insane. And we decided to remodel 14 buildings during a pandemic, during a supply chain shortage, during a construction boom. I could go on, and in the middle of nowhere. So during that, we had, I think, about 32 construction workers living on site during those months. This is a picture of the main lodge. There's a small lodge on the property, and you can see the swimming pool. There was a big swimming pool, if you want to call that. It was more like a big hole with cracks in it. And we had volunteers come out and pull up all those pavers that you see in the front of the picture. Yep. And we filled in that swimming pool and did some grading and put down those pavers again and created an outdoor dining area so we could safely hold camp, knowing that COVID would still be an issue. Every room, every cabin was filled with furniture and decorated. And I like to say they were all time capsules with really great shag carpet. So this is what this particular room looked like before we remodeled. And then on the right, we put in 2 ADA bathrooms and hand washing stations. And what you don't see are ramps going into this room and a ramp that goes into the dining room. This is the small kitchen, and we reconfigured it to make it work for our summer. We ended up hiring a couple women from the Boise School District to work there last summer.
Awesome.
On the left is what the cabins looked like when we purchased them. They had been kind of left to their own. And on the right is what they look like now after we have chinked and stained and painted. This is inside one of the cabins. We put in some ADA bathrooms, and new flooring was all donated by Designer Floors in Boise. We had all the blinds donated by Boise, Budget Blinds of Boise and Nampa. In fact, they closed down their 2 showrooms, and they brought up all their employees, and they put together 65 sets of bunk beds, as well as hanging all of the window treatments for us. And wouldn't you know, we were able to pull everything off and get ready for these kids to come to camp last summer because we had so many volunteers come up and support us. And we're talking pulling out gross carpet and linoleum and you name it, weeding and painting and getting things ready. And we were able to pull it off because we had so many people. And it brought us to this point last summer in July where we were able to welcome our very first campers. These are pictures taken from our first camp, which was a siblings camp. And the bus arrived and the kids were greeted. And my favorite picture from the whole summer is this one on the left, when the little girls walked into their cabins and saw how nice they are. And bonus, they have bathrooms in the cabin. So they weren't having to wake up 2 counselors to go outside with them and find a porta potty or go down the hill to the bathrooms. So pretty exciting and pretty much of an upgrade. A couple highlights. Regents Blue Shield donated the money to put in a 9-element ropes course for team building. And they've donated the money to do a 2nd element higher ropes course. We only did get the lower ropes course in, and it's all wheelchair accessible and adaptive. We also put in 3 bike trails on the property. It's 172 acres, so we just had some fun.
Wow.
And the first bike trail we put in and the second bike trail are both adaptive and accessible. We have a fleet of specialized bicycles so that even if a child's in a wheelchair or a child's never ridden on a bike or doesn't have that capacity, they get to participate. The third bike trail we put in is a NICA course. It's a challenge course. So we'd actually have competitions out there if we wanted to. But we pulled it off and we were able to have camp there last summer. And you can see from just a couple of the faces, it just was sheer joy. We're not done. One of the things that happened as we were building this camp and word got out, we were inundated with a number of other nonprofits who are in the same boat as we are. There's nothing that works for a child or an adult or a veteran with any disabilities or medical challenges. So when we set about designing this camp, we had a bigger picture that it would meet the needs not only of our camps, but also these other nonprofits across Idaho.
Wow.
And COVID helped us get our camps in 2 years ahead of schedule, but COVID also helped us get some of these other groups in 2 years ahead of schedule. I was telling Paul right before we started that as we speak, we have our first guest campers up at the site right now. It's a group called Sunrise Retreats. And it's an organization that takes groups of widows up into the mountains. And they do everything from cooking classes and art and yoga and hikes. And so they're up there holding their first of 2 camps this summer, this weekend. The Epilepsy Foundation is an organization in Idaho that for years has sent their campers to Colorado to hold their camps because nothing in Idaho worked for their needs. And right before COVID hit, they were told by the Colorado camps that there was not any room for any Idaho campers. And so their kids have not been to camp in a while, and they have signed up and will be holding and hosting their first camps at Hidden Paradise next summer. So they're gearing up and getting ready. Camp Holo on the left, the first logo, it's an organization that takes children from schools that have been bullied or are at risk for suicide or have anxiety. And they were signed up to have their camps there this summer and actually just backed out because they were having some problems getting some volunteers and some other things together, but they're on for next summer. Camp Red Sunrise is hemophilia, and they're excited to host their first teen camp next summer. They've held only family camps at the camps that they've leased because they've needed the parents there to help with their medical needs. And so they're excited to be able to expand and hold a teen camp because of our facilities that they feel are safe. Camp Kasem is for children whose parents have cancer or have passed from cancer. Camp River Run, they take kids that are medically complicated who do not fall into the bigger categories like diabetes or cancer or muscular dystrophy. And they're holding their camp this summer in July at Hidden Paradise. And they expect to double their capacity because they are now able to welcome all these kids in wheelchairs that they were not able to welcome before because their main lodge was up a steep hill. So they're really excited. So this is changing, and we've already got some other organizations reaching out and signing up for next year. So we're so excited that this is turning into Idaho's medical camp, and that, you know, we have this vision that if we built it, that they would come, and it's happening. So really, really excited about that. And then quickly, a couple other things. Blue Cross of Idaho has come in, and right off the bat, they donated $2.1 million to build a medical facility, a health center on site. We, as you can see on the right, have a mobile medical, we call everything the med shack because we used to really have it in a shack, and the doctor said, this isn't going to work. So we raised the money for the mobile health clinic. But, you know, having that up there and knowing that all these organizations are going to be using it, we knew we needed something that was more permanent. And so Blue Cross of Idaho has stepped up. And in fact, they had 50 volunteers up on Friday helping us clean up and get ready for camp, as did Cliff Bar and then another company in town, Clenera. We had a bunch of volunteers up there, and we worked our tails off to get the place ready for the first campers. There's a builder in town, Black Rock Homes. They've built a lot of homes out in the Harris Ranch area. They have stepped up, and they are donating they're building for us 12 brand new cabins and 2 shower houses. So you see the cabins on the right, that is what we're using right now. They are on the far north end of the property. We have to use golf carts to transport the kids up there. It's too far for them in their wheelchairs or to walk. And so this summer, Jake Centers, the owner of Black Rock, is coming in, and he's building the first prototype cabin. And he's going to make sure that it fits for all of these medical charities so that we all can tour it and say, oh, we need more space for CPAP machines or to plug in wheelchairs to charge them, before he goes ahead and builds all the other cabins next spring. So that's a huge, huge donation for us. And the exciting thing too is he's designed each of these new cabins to be able to be split in half so we can put 2 families in them for family camp. And that means we can accept 24 families each camp instead of right now about 10 to 12. And finally, we're not done. We have this outdoor dining area, and the lodge that exists is a small lodge. It will only seat about 50 to 60 people if we get really cozy. And so we have on our books plans to raise money and build a new dining hall, kind of central lodge where we can have talent shows and we can all gather inside safely if there's a weather incident or a moose on the property or something like that. So that's one of the things we're focused on right now, is raising the money to build a new central lodge, but also to upgrade and put in the necessary infrastructure to support all this donated construction and all of the buildings that we already have on site. And we're getting there. We have just so much support from the community. It's fun to watch, and we're having all 5 of our camps up there this summer. Our first camp is next week. We have family camp, and we have, I believe, 9 new families that have recently or are going through childhood cancer treatment that will be coming to our programs for the first time. So we're really excited, Paul, and thank you for the opportunity to share.
Wow, Lonnie, thank you for that presentation. And I'm just so excited that our community is the way it is, and the way you are collaborating with other nonprofits to, utilize that amazing space. Good job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. Hey, I'm going to throw your website here, healingidaho.org. And I would imagine, tell us what we can find out from healingidaho.org, Lonnie.
Well, you can go on, and it's going to share a little bit more in depth about what I just blistered through. I kind of was trying to go fast and cover a lot of ground, but it has some before and afters. It has some information of who's leading our team. Elizabeth Lisberg is our CEO, and she's been with Camp Rainbow Gold for 14 years. So we just have a strong foundation and great leadership. But before anyone is worried that we are making all of these construction decisions and getting bids and moving forward with all of this, we have unbelievable people leading us and helping us and guiding us. Just a quick shout out, Chuck Graves, who is the president of McIlvain Construction, one of the biggest in Idaho. He's come on board, and he is leading this entire project for us pro bono, as is Tim Wilcom of Jordan Wilcom. So we have these 2 men that we meet with every week. They're up at the property all the time, helping us, making sure that we get things done and accomplished and done right, as we're in the process of, like right now, we're dealing with water issues and a big, huge septic plan that we just got approved by the DEQ. And so we have these gentlemen that are leading it and pulling strings and making sure that, we have the right people during a supply chain shortage. And, as I said, it's so difficult to get construction workers, especially when you're trying to get things done in the middle of nowhere. And we're getting it done because of this community and believing so much in this project and getting behind us. It's a beautiful job. Let me tell you, I'm having the time of my life.
Incredible. Hey, as we come to adjournment in our time and share today, Lonnie, tell us any other event news or any upcoming news that you'd like to educate us on today.
Probably our 2 biggest headlines would be, one, that Carson Palmer, and many of you would know him. He was the Heisman winning quarterback at USC. He was the #1 draft pick. He was a quarterback for, the Cardinals most recently, but before that he was with the Raiders, and then he was with Cincinnati Bengals. And he has moved his young family, and settled in Idaho, and is making Idaho his home. And he has joined our capital campaign and is the spokesperson and face of our campaign. So we are very excited to have him. And he's the nicest guy you'd ever want to meet. So we couldn't find anyone better. And then the other thing is, after a 3-year COVID-forced hiatus, we are having our Share Your Heart Ball, and it's our big gala event at the Sun Valley Inn, and it will be President's Weekend in 2023. And that's our big primary fundraiser. And it's what keeps our programs free for all of these Idaho families and these children battling cancer. So we're thrilled that we are back on the books to have it again.
Oh, wow. Well, I've learned so much today, Lonnie. Thank you for educating me and being a part of the chamber as well. And the collaboration that you're having with not only the community, the business community, the campers, but other nonprofits. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much. Lonnie, have a great weekend. And thank you for your efforts with this. And I know Camp Rainbow Gold is just probably thrilled to have you on their team.
Thank you. I love my job. Thank you.
Yeah, I could tell. You did a wonderful job explaining everything. And again, have a great weekend, and I look forward to our next conversation, Lonnie.
Thanks for the opportunity. Bye, everyone.